Okay, so we are going to look at pitching yeast onto wine to start wine fermentation.
Like pitching, like throwing?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually. So if you come over here, what we have here is distilled water with some fermentation aid in it. I'll show you in a second. It is in a pot of water that I've warmed up, so it's actually about, it's nice. That's a little bit warmer out there. But what we're doing is actually very similar to what we would do with bread yeast if you're going to bake bread. So this is what's in there already. It's something that's used to help rehydration, and it has the instructions for how to do that. All I did is mix it in. It was a dry powder and dissolved it in. So that's why it looks brown at the moment.
You dissolved it in warm water.
As the instructions go there. So this is the yeast we're going to use, the manufacturer and the name of it. I recommend, if you're winemaking, there's a lot of varieties of yeast out there. Some are made for particular wines more than others. I have the wine we're making right now is Riesling. Coming off our own grapes, we always end up with more acidity than most people want. It tends to be a very sharp wine. So I've actually picked this wine,
This yeast
as an acid-reducing strain, as you see right there. So that's one of the reasons I picked this. So it comes in a pack like this, and it's pretty much one pack for about 6 to 10 gallons of juice or must that you want to ferment. 6 gallons of juice, 10 gallons of, if you're making a red wine where the grapes are still in the juice, you're fermenting at the same time, it goes for about 10 gallons there. It's a very rough estimate. You don't have to be exact at all on it. So it just looks like bread yeast. Mm-hmm. And all I'm going to do is pour it right into there, sprinkle it on.
Are you using the entire packet?
Yep. Yeah, one packet for about 6 gallons. And it just moistens up, sinks to the bottom. And one of the reasons we're using slightly warm water is just like using yeast. If you were baking bread, you want it to be a little bit warm. The yeast is been freeze dried, so we're rehydrating it, we're waking it up, we're starting it to regrow. And eventually what it's going to do is eat the sugars in the wine. So that's where we're going with next. So about 30 minutes ago, right over here, I started another one in this container. So the bigger container is holding the warm water that was in the hot pot. But as you can see, that's a nice foamy mix now that the yeast has rehydrated, started bubbling, started waking up. It's eating a little bit of the nutrient that we gave it.
So this right here is 15 minutes ago, what?
Yeah, about 20 to 30 minutes ago.
So it started off looking like this,
yep.
And then it's now looks very frothy.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. And so now I'm going to take this. Hopefully not spilling in. That would be good. And we're going to walk it back over here. So the other day we harvested our grapes, and we have these 2 containers. They have about 7 gallons each of juice. So there you go. And you can see by this, we've got some heating pads on it. We actually are we're in late October, and where we happen to be, that means it tends to get a little cold. You want to keep the yeast happy, which means some level of warmth. 50 degrees wouldn't be right. It would be much better if it was about 60 or 70. So that's why we use the hot pads to do that. So now all I'm going to do is pitch the yeast. I just pour it right on top, like that. give it a rinse or two, and it's done. All it needs now is some time and some warmth, and by this time tomorrow we should see bubbles on there where the yeast is working, producing carbon dioxide and fermenting the sugar that's in the juice into alcohol.
Okay.